Hello everyone, sorry about that. I was just started a stream and then I just had to end it very quickly because I got a very important phone call. So apologies for the quick dash there if anybody was watching that previous stream, but we will just pick up from now. Just as I was briefly touching on previously, so we did pre-patches live. There's a lot of new stuff to go through, and ultimately we did touch on Resto Druids yesterday. PvP gameplay that I did was not very good. There was just a lot of skills that I hadn't really looked into, a lot of big changes that I hadn't taken into account, and I just wasn't prepared really. I've revisited Druid a little bit last night just to have a look at some of the new skills, feel a bit more comfortable with it now, and they seem to be in a pretty good place. But what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at Exile's Reach, as you can see from the name of the video, just to have a look and see what that entails for new players and see how that goes. Now, one of the classes that I haven't got on my Horde side is a mage, so I'm going to make a new mage now, and we are just going to jump straight in, do a little bit of customization again, just in case anybody didn't see the new customization options and how the new character select screen works. So you've got one of the options and things that I do like about Undead now is, what was it? I think is it not facial features, skin type here. So previously whenever you made an undead, they always have the bony look with the bones jutting out. They have the sort of jagged skin around the edges. Didn't quite like the look of that myself personally. You've now got the option to have them as mottled, where you can see the little lesions on the skin, or you can just have them as fresh. So, you know, essentially they have no markings on there or anything. This is the one that I'm going to go for. It's a very exciting change that I feel for undeads now. In terms of the faces, now one of the things that again that I don't like about the undead is when they have these sort of little blemishes on the face. It just looks, I get where they're going for, that sort of like rotten look, pretty cool, but ultimately it just doesn't appeal to me personally. I will go for the sort of older look. These mutton chops are going to have to go because that is horrendous. I don't know who at Blizzard's art team came up with that design for for the hairstyle for the beard, but that is not a good look. So in terms of the hairstyle, the one that I did quite like was Creeper. I think this is a really cool look. It's definitely different. I like the way that the hair sort of swings down here as well. The only problem with it is the sort of like grippage here where it like hooks round doesn't look quite right. I think that should just come down here, but still, all in all, I think that's a pretty good look. In terms of the colour of the undead, so there's quite a few options now that you do have. In terms of it, I think we'll go for something, quite bright. I quite like the purple, why not? Hair colour wise, something that clashes with the purple might look quite good. That's too similar. The pink is a no-go. The dark purple's okay. Should we go for the green? Should we go for the sewage green? Why not? Let's go for the sewage green. In terms of facial features, I've never been one for the facial features. I used to when I was a kid, like when I was a lot younger and playing World of Warcraft. The facial features for undeads used to be really appealing. I don't know why, but not something like overly massive on now. But as you can see, you get a lot of different options here. I do quite like the idea of the driller and the slobber, but again, I don't know. I mean, I know I could always change it, but I just think I'll leave it for now and just stick with the good old intact option. And then finally, with undead and their customization, you have got the option of different coloured eyes, or you've just got empty sockets, which is a pretty strange look for some characters. But I think what we'll do is we'll go for blue. Colour of my eyes, why not? And then naturally, in terms of the name, we're just going to go with some form of Titan, because that's just a way of keeping it in theme with the actual stream itself. So we'll go with Titan Blast, why not? Let's try that. I don't know why I've capitalised the B, because we all know that's not going to work. So when you do this as a new player, now as a brand new player, you will only get the option to do Exile's Reach, from what I understand, because as I touched on previously, we are an existing player, we get the option to do Death Knell or Exile's Reach. We are going to choose Exile's Reach, and we're going to jump in here now. So here is our new mage, and this is our first experience of Exile's Reach. One of the changes that I didn't mention when I was doing my stream yesterday was the changes to heirlooms. So previously heirlooms gave you bonus experience. Now that is no longer the case. Looks like we've actually got a bit of a cutscene here, so we'll watch this.
A disparate band of races united in their pursuit of freedom, honor, and glory.
Definitely think this is a much better experience for new characters coming into the new players, coming into the game now. definitely looks a lot more grand and intriguing than the original starts. So it looks like there's quite a few people wanting to try Exile's Reach out. I like the way it incorporates them into the cutscene. That's pretty cool. Telling you how to position your hands is a very strange option. Now I don't know if there is a way to get rid of these. So I guess tutorials is what we don't want, right? So we can get rid of the tutorials. We definitely don't need those. So in terms of heirlooms then, so if I just load this up now, we don't need appearances, we need heirlooms. So they have changed them. As you can see, they now have a set. So you've got a 2, a 3, a 5 and a 6-piece set. The first one reduces rested experience consumption by 30%, which is really powerful. The next one increases your out of combat regeneration in normal battlegrounds and normal dungeons, battlegrounds, and outdoors. You've then got the 5 set, which gains level. So you can deal damage, and then you get a buff, which is really nice. And then finally, a further 30% reduction to rested experience being consumed. So really nice bonuses there. If you do have all the set, it is very handy. So I'm just going to quickly make all of the different pieces that we do need. And then finally here we have got the ring. So I think that should be pretty much everything that we need there in terms of the sets that are available. Don't think there's anything that I'm missing. So if I have a look now, do I have it? Yes, I've got the full set bonus there. So we can now make our way and start the game. So let's have a quick chat over here with Warlord Breaker Grimax. Warm up by fighting a combat dummy. So this should be a pretty nice, easy start. So we kill the Titan dummy with the help of that hunter there. So apparently I've just completed 50 quests, which definitely isn't right. Speak with Grunt Throg. So let's have a look. Where is Throg? Alright, okay, so we're going to fight this guy then by the looks of it. It says spar with him now, so that's the quest, spar with Grunt Throg. There's no reason to run away or anything like that. That's quite good. It's teaching you that you need to face your enemy while he's jumping around there, so that's handy for a new player coming in. They definitely may not have seen that previously, so it's definitely a nice little addition there. Jumping into level 2 now, picking up Fire Blast. So that was pretty quick getting into level 1. We've just done a couple of quests and we've already leveled up once, which is really nice. So it looks like we're gonna. I think if I remember rightly from Exile's Reach, you crash land on the island. The ship won't make it to the island in one piece. Hold on to something and pray that the elements will spare us from grim death at sea. So kind of similar to the jump into Nazjatar, where we get sort of stranded here. It looks like we've got another cutscene, which is quite nice. Sadly, it showed us on the island before the cutscene, so we already know that we make it safely. But yeah, I think it's setting the scene quite nicely. Like I say, if I am correct in thinking that a new player has to do this and doesn't have the choice of avoiding it, I think it's setting up for a pretty cool adventure for them, to be honest. So here is Exile's Reach. Does feel very much like the look of, it's in Azshara, the place where all the Murlocs and the Makura are. It feels very similar to that. So we've got to recover 6 first aid kits from Murlocs. So this is the first quest, so it's now going to teach us about gathering quests, which, as we all know, is a very important and integral part of World of Warcraft. Damage-wise, I feel like potentially Frostbolts would have killed enemies quicker previously. I could be wrong. It's definitely been a while since I've played a new character. But the last new character I did make was a Shadow Priest, which everyone knows are just ridiculously overpowered with full heirlooms, or at least they were previously. So I managed to get to like level 15 in about 2 hours. 2 hours, that would have been ridiculous. 25 minutes is what I was meant to say. I've just realised I don't have auto loot on, so I definitely need to change that very quickly. And then we will make our way back over here, so it's just there. So yeah, I was just wanting to try Exile's Reach out because obviously, as you can see on my account, I've got a lot of characters. So I've made a lot of new characters, and ultimately, it's nice to see that they are getting something different for a change. Now, in terms of the quest that we've got here, so we are now going to use first aid kits. So again, it's just teaching new characters how to actually use items that they might have in the backpack, which again is another nice little touch, just teaching them the different ways of playing the game, selecting them and using the items. Level 3 already, so again this is going pretty quick. So we've now got to search for some survivors. Now we can see here the new sort of process or new system that Blizzard have introduced with regards to quests, which kind of eliminates the needs, if not fully eliminates the needs, of add-ons such as Azeroth Autopilot. So you can see at the top of the screen that we have this little diamond showing up here with a yard counter underneath. So that is going to point us to where our sort of quest location is and where we need to go to complete that. So I do think that's a nice little addition that Blizzard have entered in there. One thing that I've just realised is that I'm not using the heirloom mount. Can you use that on this island? What's the name of it again? It's the chauffeur, isn't it? So chauffeur mechano hog, yeah, it looks like we can use it, so I definitely want to be making use of that just to speed things up a little bit. So we found one of our guys who's a little bit injured. Get 5 raw meat from wildlife and then cook it on the campfire. Now one of the things that I have noticed is that there is a chest up here on the mini-map, so we're going to go over to the chest, have a look and see what's in there. So let's have a look and see what Blizzard warrants for a new character. Now one of the things that I've just noticed there is I've just leveled up from grabbing that, so it looks like you do get experience from opening chests, which is always very handy. Just going to try and make quick work of some of the little characters around here, the little wildlife. Seems like all of them are going to drop meat, which is interesting because, again, as anybody who's played the game for a while will know, typically with most quests, not every mob you kill will drop the item that you're looking for. It's not as bad as it used to be, but they're always very tricky with it, Blizzard. I mean, with this quest you can't really get away with it. It says raw meat, you know, they're all going to have meat on them, so getting raw meat is pretty easy. But what you tend to find is that when it comes down to certain quests, they'll be very specific, so they'll say, oh, you need to find pristine boar hide, for example, just to make sure that they can get away with having you sat there for 10 hours trying to find it. So we will now hand that quest in, get our guy fed, and hopefully that might make him feel a little bit better, or make her feel a bit better. Yeah, there we go. What have we got to do next? So we've got to spar with Grimax, so we're going to have a little fight with her. Oh, Quillbore. So apparently Quillbore is stronger than Murlocs according to her, which I don't believe. I honestly think Murlocs are a much harder enemy and much worse to fight than Quillbore. So let's get Grimax down here. This shouldn't be too difficult. I'm just going to make the most of the spells that we have got. I definitely don't need to use this. I could just stand and take the hits from her, but at the end of the day, let's make it a bit more dramatic than it needs to be. She did use a full heal there, or she's healing up quite a lot. Right, okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. So it's basically teaching you how to do the spells. So I should probably read it a bit better because ultimately it's so she's telling you to use your spells at range to keep people back, and then you can fire blast once she gets low to then take her out. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's actually teaching people the sort of basics of how to fight. So, you know, Frostbolt's going to slow them down, keep them at range, and then once their health is low enough, you can then use your fire blast when they're in melee range to then finish them off. So I do actually like that. That's a really good job by Blizzard. I must give credit where it's due for that one. That's pretty cool. Just sort of teaching new players properly how to play, because you don't really get that now in the starting zones anymore. It just sort of drops you in and that's it, which is fine. But the way that Blizzard have the game now, it's meant to be very user friendly and, you know, really get people into the game as quickly as possible. The next quest that we've now got is to scout northward and find somebody. So it's a pretty good look. You know, I mean, compared to a lot of the starting areas, it definitely looks nice. The giant ogre over there is a really cool look. I like that. Going up here, we can definitely tell that we're going to be coming across Quillbores because they generally tend to live in all the thorns. So it looks like we've got another one of our friends who got chucked off the ship here. Right, so we're now going into the realm of 2 quests. So we've got Slay Geolord Grek-Og, and then we've got to slay 7 Quillbars. So, I mean, this is very simple stuff, don't get me wrong. This is, you know, the basic things that you would always have done as a new player. But ultimately, it's just good to see that they are, you know, still trying to get new players involved with the game and help them out to get started as quickly as they possibly can. So he's going to cast Earthbolt on me. I was intrigued to see if that would do any sort of actual damage, but naturally when you're playing with heirlooms, nothing can really touch you, to be honest with you. I think you could probably literally attack somebody and stand still and never take a hit, by the looks of things. So there is actually a rare mob on the map up here, so we're going to quickly jump up there, take a look and get this character down. So I'm intrigued to see, so 1945 experience is what we're on at the moment, but I am going to have to kill this mob, so we'll ignore that for now. So what's our experience? 1980, so I'm intrigued to see how much experience we do get for killing a rare spawn, because they used to give a lot and then it really got nerfed and they no longer started giving very much anymore, so I'm intrigued to see if Blizzard have increased that. It actually gave no experience, which is very strange. That was the last thing I was expecting there, was to get 0 experience for killing a rare spawn. I don't know if that's a bug or if that's right, but it doesn't seem like a very good experience for me, for a new player to have to kill a rare elite and then, you know, get nothing for it. It also didn't seem to make a very big show of the fact that that was a rare spawn, which seems a bit of a shame. Like, it would have made more sense to me to, you know, sort of always have him there for a new character and sort of say this is what a rare mob would look like, and, you know, killing them grants a special reward. And in all fairness, from a Blizzard point of view, that would have been a really good opportunity to give a new player an epic item or a rare item that then upgrades to an epic, for 2 reasons. 1, it shows people the upgrade mechanic and how that will work, but 2, it also gets that dopamine going and gets new players excited, like, oh, I've got an epic item, you know, really early on into the game. And we all know Blizzard was want people playing the game for as long as they can, which makes sense. So yeah, I think that's a missed opportunity there, Blizzard. I definitely think you could do a bit better in that respect with the rare spawn. We have got a chest up here though of Quillbore treasures. The chest looks nice. I like the look of that, doing something a little bit different. Nothing exciting though. Handful of blood shards, which is just general trash, and then naturally some white braces. So we're going to hand these 2 quests that we just completed now. Use the Choppy Booster Mark V to find Shuja Grimax. I get the feeling this is going to be... So is it going to be something whereby we need to pilot a vehicle by the looks of things? Which has become sort of more and more a pretty integral part to playing World of Warcraft now. So again, it's nice that they're going to teach characters how to do that, or new players how to do that. So let's see what happens here. So we're getting taken up into the sky. It looks like it's going to be a natural sort of bombarding quest where we're going to be dropping things down on the enemies below. So this is the buff that we get, by the way. Intellect increased by 40% from having the tier bonus set for all the skills. So that is really powerful. A 40% intellect bonus is really high. I imagine if you're doing dungeons with friends and you all get those bonuses, it's going to make life make dungeons very quick. So we've got an ogre coming out here now. Interestingly, it kind of looks a bit like souls coming out of that person, like we would see in the Maw, or we would see in Shadowlands. So it looks like they're using that effect here. It would appear that we're going to be fighting some form of dragon. So yeah, if I compare this start to, for example, Northshire Abbey, where you're going to go around, you're going to kill some wolves, you're going to kill some Blackrock scouts, and then ultimately it leads to you going into collecting some grapes, and then finalize it with killing, you know, a leader of some orcs that have burned some of the forest around Northshire Abbey. If we compare that with this, where we've got, you know, we're sailing on a boat, and now there's ogres on this island that we've crash landed on, and there's the threat of a dragon coming out. I mean, that to me seems like a much more sort of exciting and engaging situation. So again, we're now being taught how to use some items from our backpack, so we're resizing balls. There is a chance that it will not blow up the user, not guaranteed to work. It's meant to enlarge creatures apparently, but it's just making them tiny. Okay, so it looks like that's one of the malfunctions where it kills them. But that's the quest complete, so we are pretty much making some good progress here. It's very quick, so we're level 5 already. Bear in mind that it's level 50 is now the top level. Expeditionary staff, looks like a new design, very similar to the old ones. I think essentially all they've done is just extend it and then put a kink in it. So not great, but it's still pretty cool. It's a new look at the end of the day. So this is where it's now going to teach us how to use the artillery. So we're just going to make very quick work of this because obviously we all know how to do these now, and whether or not many new players will actually watch this video and watch Exile's Reach, I'm not sure. I hope they do. I think it would be very good for new players to get involved with World of Warcraft, because at the end of the day, as much as we all might moan and, you know, say that there's problems with the game, yes, there are problems with the game. We are all aware that there's problems with the game. But at the end of the day, there's a reason we're still playing it. We do enjoy the game, and I do enjoy World of Warcraft very much. And new players are going to be pretty important and integral to keeping this game going, as much as they might annoy you sometimes when you're in a dungeon. As I've mentioned before, you've just got to remember that we've all been new at the game at some point or another. People might just need that little bit of extra time and patience just to sort of get back into the swing of things. So just give them it. You know, if they're a new player, ultimately they're going to keep the game going, the game that you enjoy. So just try and help them out as much as you can. One thing that I did notice in the patch notes, which I thought was a really nice addition as well, is that Blizzard have introduced a chat feature whereby experienced players can help chat with new players and help them out, but it was something whereby there was actually requirements to do that, so you had to have certain achievements and have done certain levels of content in Battle for Azeroth, which weren't massively difficult, but there was still a pretty, you know, reasonable challenge for somebody who maybe doesn't play the game very much to avoid people just going in there and trolling. So I thought that was a really nice addition by Blizzard and something that I'm very happy to see. So it looks like we're just discussing here the use of sacrifices to use their magic for the ogres. So we can see it bursting out the top of the castle there. So a little story, to be honest with you, that's coming up. Again, it's nice to see that we're included in the cutscenes here. One thing that I haven't done yet, but I don't think I can, is to check out transmogs that are available for me as a level 5, but I don't think I'd be able to, because I won't be able to mount anything other than the chauffeur mount yet. So what we'll do is once we've finished Exile's Reach and hit level 10, we'll check that out. Now they have just run off up the hill. The next quest is, well, it looked like they ran up the hill, but they haven't. Okay, so it's now teaching you how to buy and sell items. I've currently got TSM installed, so it might look a little bit weird, but we'll buy the Horde Tabard, why not? And then it wants us to sell something as well, so we'll just get rid of all of this junk, just because it's just clogging up space in the backpack at the moment, to be honest. I'll chuck the Tabard on though, why not? Okay, so I've got a couple of quests appear on the map now, so let's have a look and see what these guys are offering. So we've got to meet her west of the Horde camp, which is just up the hill. Looks like we're going to be fighting some spiders here. So we can see magic popping out of this hall. So it looks like there's something definitely going on down there. We'll have a chat with Lana Jordan and see what she wants us to do.
A dark pit and darker magic. I think we found the ritual.
So it looks like this might be our entryway into the castle, potentially. Rescue 5 trapped expedition members. We can do that. Oh. Alright, okay, so the web just catches your fall. I was thinking I was going to fall. Wouldn't have been the best. It definitely wouldn't have been the best. So we're just going to do pretty standard stuff here, breaking through cocoons. We've all been there before. There's many different aspects in World of Warcraft where breaking cocoons is an important thing. So we're going to make very quick work of this quest, because these are definitely the parts. The one thing that I would probably like to see a little bit more of is a bit more mob density. I feel like a lot of this is just sort of running around with not much threat. So although I know the enemies can be killed very easily and ultimately it doesn't really make a huge amount of difference, I definitely think for a new player just trying to reinforce that process of, you know, combat is going to be a very important thing for them. I don't feel like we're getting enough combat. Now that could explain why, because there is a hunter just ahead of us who appears to have been pretty much killing everything. So that would probably go some ways to explain why why that's happening and why there isn't very many enemies. But ultimately, we're just here to complete the quests and see what the quests look like. That's the main thing. Now, it looks like we just need to go further down here and to find out what's happening with regards to this ritual. So let's see who we've got. So we've got Hrun the Exiled. Looks like that is an undead, yet who is doing this. So we're going to take them out. Hopefully we can at least get a hit before this hunter kills them, because it looks like hunter's damage is insane. I think survival, from what I understand, is the best one that they've got at the moment. Survival spec. Okay, so it looks like this druid's going to get us out of the pit quite nicely. So a really nice look to the game. You know, you're getting that excitement now of trying to get escape from the collapsing cave, which has always been a very common trope within Hollywood. Indiana Jones, I think, was potentially the first one to really make that famous. But yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised, I would say, is the experience I'm having with Exile's Reach so far. I didn't expect very much from it, but it's definitely something that I think has been well thought out by Blizzard. A couple of little bits that need to be tweaked, I would say. That was a bit janky. The big hop up the hill there was a bit strange, but yeah. The only things that I would say so far from Blizzard is potentially not enough mob density. I might let that go because the hunt that was ahead of us there, but potential, not criticism, but feedback there was the mob density. You need to get people used to fighting. And then finally the other thing was the rare spawn. I definitely think something needed to be done with the rare spawn there and make that a bit better, because it just seemed like a bit of a shame not to do anything with it. So next we're going to go up and fight some harpies. So it seems to be introducing us to some of the sort of key enemies that you're going to come across throughout your time in World of Warcraft that you're going to be fighting. So, you know, we've got like quillboars and harpies and spiders, things like that. There is a quest up here, which... a light spawn, okay. Use the light spawn's light to dispel nearby necrotic energy. So it is necrotic energy, which is why it looks very Maldraxxus-y. And then we get light speed, which increases our speed by 60%. So this is really nice. So this is a very simple quest, just going around purifying these little fountains. I think most people by now would have probably understood the whole process of, you know, clicking on items and things like that. But again, you know, for new players, it's just about that repetition and just sort of building that mindset and teaching them how to actually do this. So you've got to go around and do the 4. Interestingly, it might potentially change it, so it might get you to do it in different patterns, I'm not sure. But all in all, the aesthetic of this and how this is looking for a new player, very exciting. So we will talk to the light spawn again. He's going to give us light speed. So I'm guessing this is just to try and help people out who maybe don't have the chauffeur, because I don't think my speed is any faster now. Looks faster being on foot. I don't think it is. I think it's just the same as being in the chauffeur. So we've got to kill 10 harpies and also set fire to 5 of the totems, and then finally we've got to rescue somebody from a ritual. Harpies have always been one of the enemies that are quite interesting for me, I think, in World of Warcraft, because you can see how they've come along quite nicely. They always used to look pretty flimsy and pretty weak going into, you know, back in Classic, but they've definitely updated the models quite nicely, and also very interesting, they look a lot bigger now. They definitely didn't seem to look this big before. Now another good thing is it's harpies and cohorts slain for the quest, so in terms of killing the wargs, that does also count towards this. I'm not going to go up there just yet, just because I think that I'm going to... I don't think I'll be able to get the rest of the quest things that I need done on my way back, so I'm just going to quickly kill the 2 wargs here, get this totem. There is a chest at the back, so they keep putting chests in, which is quite nice. I'm opening them up just because I'm intrigued to see if Blizzard does actually put any sort of particularly useful items in there. I know there's not going to be anything particularly useful, but you know, if they put like an epic item or something like that in, I'd be interested to know. We've got another rare spawn here, Ogre Taskmaster. We're going to test this out again. So 812 XP is what we're on right now. I want to test this out because it just doesn't seem right to me that a rare spawn would give no experience whatsoever. They should at least give the same as what an enemy does. But no, 812. So strangely, rare spawns are not giving any experience. I'm not quite sure why that would be, whether that's a bug or if that's intended, I'm really not sure. But that's definitely something that I think needs to be looked into, and yet again, it didn't make a, you know, like a thing about the fact that it was a rare spawn, which for me just seems like a bit of a shame. I definitely think they need to promote and push that a little bit more for a new player. So coming up here now, we're just going to go and disrupt this ritual up here because we've now got the 2 quests. And then I think we might potentially be getting back towards the end, or towards the end of Exile's Reach at that point. So we're going to save Herbert here. Alright, okay, that's pretty cool. So we've got our first mission, which is a Protect mission, or Gauntlet mission, where we're going to have multiple enemies coming in throughout the time. Is that it? Is it just those 2? So it didn't seem to take very long. No, we've got some more here.
I've got your back. Let us strike them down.
Okay, so it looks like we've got a little friend coming in to help us out now.
You do not fight alone.
Oh, and more. So it's definitely not going to be a tough quest by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think any of Exile's Reach should be difficult, especially not by, you know, like an experienced player's standard. I definitely don't think this would be a difficult thing to do. And ultimately, I don't think that you would necessarily do it again. I struggle to believe that this is going to be faster than, you know, just going to the normal zones, purely on the basis that with the normal zones, one, we all know how they work, so we know the zones, we know the quests, but also this has a lot more RP involved in it. So things like this quest here, where, you know, you're having to spend time waiting for the quest to complete and things like that, you don't really tend to get that much now in this sort of starting zones. So I definitely think this is going to be slower than most places, and therefore I doubt many people will actually keep coming here. The only thing that would be handy about having, so we've just got to return to the camp now. One thing that I would say would be handy, potentially, I don't know, there's probably other add-ons that do this, but one of the things that I do like about Azeroth Autopilot is the auto hand-in. It doesn't look like Blizzard have given that option or done anything like that, which would be handy, like an auto hand-in for quests. I know they want people to read them, but ultimately just make it a selectable option, because I can't remember the last time many of us would have read quest text, let's be honest. So I haven't got another quest here. I'm not quite sure where it wants me to go now. I was expecting to get something off her, but nothing's come up. So that seems a bit strange that she hasn't given us another quest. Do we need to just go and... there we go, it's finally done it. So Herbert Gloomhurst. We need to get his book at the bottom of a lake, and this will then grant us access to Polymorph. And I imagine the fact that it's giving us Polymorph as if it's like a quest reward, I get the feeling we're going to have to use that, so it's going to teach us about CC. Now, funnily enough, it did give me Counterspell, but didn't teach you how to use that, and it's given Arcane Explosion, but hasn't really taught about AoE either. So I wonder if it will bring those 2 things in. Potentially will, potentially won't. We'll find out, I'm sure. So we'll grab Polymorph now, and we also got Arcane Intellect as well. So here's polymorphed me. I hope it doesn't have to last the full 50 seconds or full minute. But this is what I mean in terms of... Alright, okay, so he's just teaching you now. So if you polymorph somebody and then you attack them, it'll break it. So that's pretty cool. So we've got to use it now against him. So let's just click on here to say that we're ready to practice. We will put Arcane Intellect on for the additional 5% Intellect. Is not bad, plus the 40% from that. So we've got like a crazy amount of Intellect going on right now, 71. So we will attack Herbert with Polymorph, and then we'll also use it Alright, okay.
On the other, hitting your enemy will break the spell. Attack Herbert.
So this is really nice, teaching people how to do it. So just got to attack this guy now just to get him back to normal. And then that's that quest done. So yeah, very impressed so far with Blizzard's effort of introducing new players to mechanics such as CC, you know, teaching them how to use vehicles for quests and things like that. So we've now got to go and meet Grimax outside the Citadel, so it definitely looks like we're getting towards the end of the mission here, or the end of Exile's Reach I should say. Now we've got another quest hidden over here, a danger sign, so is this potentially a wanted quest? Yep. So this is pinned as a 3-man quest. Now I would be very annoyed with myself if I wasn't able to complete this and it did actually require 3 people, but let's have a look and see how strong Killclaw the Terrible actually is. Definitely doesn't look like it's going to be something that's going to be requiring 3 people as the quest said, but I imagine for a new player that could potentially be the case. You know, if you're playing on your own and you're not used to the game, there is a potential there that they might need that additional help from other players. But it definitely shouldn't be something that we need. I know the other person did come along there, but I'm sure we'd have managed even if they hadn't. So we'll go and hand this quest in now. So we've got to look for treasure within his cave. High Class Hole, that person's called. What a lovely name. Expeditionary Mantle. So getting shoulders quite early on was always something that was exciting. I found back in Classic was when shoulder armor first became a thing. I always remember, you know, playing back in the day, it used to be a case of getting, I think it was hardened leather shoulders you could wear at level 15, and whew, that felt good. The difference in how your character looked when you put those shoulders on was so nice. They were white named, they barely added any armor, but it just felt so tasty to have that extra bit of broth and width on your character's shoulders. It looked really good. So now we've got to transform into an ogre and scout out the area. So this is teaching you how to do these sort of quests. There's a very similar one to this in Westfall where you've got to go into the cave and become a crate. So it's just sort of getting you used to the different mechanics really. I think that's just the best way of putting it. It's just teaching you all the different mechanics that you're going to need to use. So we're infiltrating the keep now, pretending to be an ogre, bringing our 3 guys in. I really like this. It's a really clever and unique idea that they brought through, so I like this idea. And this is the cooking area. It looks like there's a little cookery class going on today. I must admit though, those ribs look really nice, and they've even added a little bit of steam in. I mean, Blizzard are outdoing themselves here. We've never had steam before. So we've got a tight /wave because naturally we can't speak ogre, and now apparently we can dance. I don't know why we would, but it was an optional thing. That gets everybody else dancing. That's pretty cool. You dance good. So just get everybody dancing there, which is a nice, just a little fun thing, to be honest with you. So it's good to see that Blizzard are having a bit of fun with the game again as well, because I do think it's, you know, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of, there's plenty of complaints about the game now. There is a lot of still good things about it, and I think you know, we need to just remember that there is still a lot of good from this game. So we've got to recover ward stones from certain ogres. It looks like we've got quite a few quests here. Blow up 4 catapults, and also to slay 8 ogres. So we are going to run down into this bottom section down here. That person's still got their speed buff, so they're doing pretty well. Not for very long though. Off it drops. So we'll go down here and we'll just make very quick work of this. Just because I know, like I say, I'm well aware that doing Exile's Reach probably isn't that exciting for a lot of people, but I just want to showcase, you know, the new stuff that's actually come out with the pre-patch, because there was a lot of disappointment for a lot of people that there wasn't any new quest lines or anything like that coming in. That will be coming in later, but sadly it's just not ready yet from what I understand. So ultimately, I just want to showcase what has actually come into the game and what is available now to be used and utilised. And I definitely think Exile's Reach is one of the key parts to that, as much as some people might not be happy that that's one of the key parts because it doesn't affect the end game or the long-term, you know, gameplay. Ultimately, it's new, and it's quite rare that we get something as, you know, new as this into World of Warcraft. I think it's been a long time since, you know, playing the game has had such a, or starting the game, sorry, has had such a big overhaul. Since potentially Cataclysm, I don't think, where the starting zones, some of the starting zones were changed in Cataclysm, I believe. So yeah, this is a pretty big thing, pretty big deal, and I definitely think it should be celebrated quite a lot from a Blizzard point of view in terms of trying to bring new players into the game. And ultimately, you know, it's just nice to give me a reason to start a new character, because I have wanted to, I have got a mage at level 120, didn't play them very much, I just got them there and that was pretty much it. But I have wanted an excuse to start a mage for some time, so with the revamped leveling process taking a lot quicker and having Exile's reach, it was just a perfect opportunity to be able to play the game, try it out, and see where we can go from there. So just going to get the last of the catapults there. I've got to kill Juggernog in here, and then we'll finish off by killing some ogres. There was a chest back there which I didn't get because I couldn't see it. So we'll have a quick check and see if we can find that when we go and get the last of these ogres. So we'll make nice quick work of Juggernog here, get his ward, and then we'll kill the final few brutes that we need to kill as well. Part of me is curious, so I'm not even going to bother with the chest, because at the end of the day the chest just isn't going to have anything worthwhile inside there. So sadly I'm going to kill our little chef friends here, who were very good for us and danced around when we needed them to. So I do apologise to these guys that I am killing them, because I feel like we had a good friendship going, but ultimately I just want to get these quests boxed off, because we've all done kill quests, we all know what ogres look like. But I'm intrigued to see what the last stage is going to look like with the dragon, because from what I gather, the summoning of this dragon is an impending thing that we are not going to be able to avoid. So I'll definitely be excited to see what that's going to entail. So there is the chest. I'm not quite sure why I couldn't see that the first time. I literally must have driven straight past it. But we've got a precious ogre stash that we've come up against here. As always, when it comes to ogres, lots of pebbles. They love pebbles apparently, and ogre effigy. I think it also could have been a good opportunity here to introduce people maybe to pets. I know people don't like battle pets or anything like that, but it's part of the game. So I think Blizzard maybe could have done a little bit to introduce a battle pet or a pet battle into the game, something like that. Maybe they didn't want to overload players with too much at the beginning, but I don't think pet battles are that hard of a concept to grasp, so I definitely think that could have been a good opportunity for Blizzard to bring those in. So those two quests are done here. We will do the last one. We just needed the wards before we could do it. So let's go and disable these wards holding Mulgrim Thunderwalker now, and then we'll be able to move on to the final part of the quest, which is going to be, I imagine, storming this keep and fighting whatever the ritual has summoned, which should be a dragon from what I understand. So we'll hand these in here. We are making really good progress now in terms of our level. So we are now, are we going to hit level 10? Not just yet. We will definitely do it though once we complete this. So from what I understand, it gets you to do kind of like a mini dungeon. So use the group finder. So it's teaching you how to use group finder. Select Dark Maul Citadel, and let's find a group. So again, pretty cool. You know, it's teaching people how to use the group finder there. No tank role. Kind of doesn't surprise me, but again, I feel like that's a little bit of a shame that they don't have a tank role involved. But we've got a couple of people in here. What's popular? So hunters seem to be a bit of a popular choice at the moment, which isn't surprising. Hunters are always a popular choice. But I imagine this is going to be a pretty quick run through here. Most people in this dungeon could probably kill an elite on their own. Just see how, I was interested to see how powerful Arcane Explosion was. It wasn't that powerful. What's the loot like? Just silver, nothing special. Right, let's go. This is really cool. I mean, this I am very impressed with. You don't get anything like this as a new character. Previously, you wouldn't have been able to even queue up in the dungeon finder until you were level 15. You just got a necklace, which, you know, doesn't mean anything for me because I've got an heirloom one on. But for a new player, just getting gear and things like that, you're in a dungeon, very exciting. This is the sort of stuff that when I was, you know, first playing World of Warcraft back in the day, I'd have loved it. The graphics are obviously a lot better than they were previously. So all in all, so far, my experience of Exile's Reach is a very positive one. The only two things, as I've mentioned, that I would change so far would maybe to have slightly higher mob density, so you're killing things a bit more. Actually, three things. Pet battles would probably be a good thing to put in there. Just simply a pet battle, just to let people know that it's an aspect of the game, since Blizzard seem to want to, you know, keep that in there. That's fine. And then finally, the last thing that I would say is to make sure that rare spawns actually give something decent. So we get Trunk's Trunk for killing him, which is a soulbound 12 slot bag, so that's pretty cool. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the bags here, but for whatever reason the main slot doesn't seem to be doing anything, which is a bit strange. So we've actually got a rare item there, so the one of the guys got a shield, which is good. It's nice to see that Blizzard are putting rare items in. So Arcane Explosion kills off these little guys very easily, they die nice and quick. I'm guessing that's the intended purpose here, so I'm just going to kill those off because it doesn't look like anybody else was using AoE to get rid of them themselves. But yeah, this is really nice. I can't stress enough how impressed I am with this. I mean, we've currently been streaming now for about 45 minutes. Some of that was character creation. So I'd say Exile's Reach thus far has probably taken us about 40 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, something like that. So we're just going to get rid of these guys with AoE. And then we're going to fight on Gorg. So we are going to fight Gorgroth. And we're going to try and thwart his ritual before it actually becomes a thing. So let's interrupt him there. Let's try and do this properly. So we'll interrupt him when we can with Counterspell. He's going to cast Unstable Shadows. Yeah, I knew this was going to happen. I knew we were going to have to fight the dragon. The dragon model is really nice. Let's have a look. So it doesn't necessarily look like this is a model that we've seen before, have we? I think this might be a new Shadowlands dragon model. Or perhaps this is the same one that we did see first boss of... I can't remember the name of it now, so we'll keep out the way of the breath there. So I think... What is the name of it? Emerald Nightmare. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. So I think it might be the same as the Emerald Nightmare boss in terms of its design, potentially, but it's a really nice looking dragon, a lot better than the typical old sort of like bronze drake style look that we used to have. So there we go, the dragon is down, Ravnia is done. I got a rare cloak, which obviously I don't need, but it's still a bonus. We talked Grimax now to leave, so let's get out of the Citadel and figure out how to get home. And let's see what she has come up with. So we will hit level 10, I imagine, once we do make it home. So it looks like a little expedition has been sent by the Horde to come and find us. Let's have a look here. So you get a little cloth helm there, nice look, especially for somebody who hasn't played before. And now we get to ride a wyvern back to Orgrimmar. So the good news is that is Exile's Reach done. Really enjoyed that. I'm not going to lie, it was a very exciting thing to do. I'm very impressed with what Blizzard have done in terms of Exile's Reach, and I would absolutely say that if you haven't tried Exile's Reach yet, give it a go. Obviously, if you've watched me do it, you might be a little bit less inclined, and thank you for watching the video if you did watch me play today. But yeah, really enjoyed that. So we're going to fly back to Orgrimmar now. What we'll then do is I'm going to jump onto my... Well, I'll get the riding skill first, and then we'll jump onto the Yak, or we'll just go to the Transmogrifier, and we'll just take a look and see what transmog options we have as a level 10. Because I think it might still be restricted, but I'm not sure. You could be able to use anything. So here we go. Let's just give you a nice little overview of Exile's Reach. Really, again, just like a nice little finishing touch, just giving you a view there. We've got a nice big Horde ship flying overhead, and you get to see the beach. So it's quite nice because you get to see where you've come from. So you started on the beach, you know, with there's your ship wrecked over there, and you fought your way up past the Quillbars, and you know, it's just a really, really good bit of play by Blizzard. I think it's really nice. So Exile's Reach, we can see, is now located just north of Kul Tiras. So I wonder where we were sailing to be honest with you, to have crashed there. So we don't need to hear anything about Orgrimmar, we know that one. So we'll just talk with her now, complete the final quest. So there's the Exile's Reach achievement done, which is nice. So we're already familiar with Orgrimmar, so we don't need to do any further tutorial there, as we have already completed that. So we'll now just make our way very quickly over to the transmogrifier just for the final part of this stream today. So for anybody watching the stream today, I think there's been a couple of people dropping in and out. I just want to say a big thank you for watching first and foremost. We had a stream yesterday whereby we looked at some of the pre-patch additions, and I looked at Resto Druid. It didn't go very well, so if you want to watch that and have a laugh, by all means do, at my expense naturally. But ultimately, I'm going to revisit Resto Druid most likely tomorrow or the day after, and we'll see if we can get a little bit better at that. So in terms of transmog, this is really nice. So transmog wise, it looks like you can literally use anything up to and including BFA. This set here for mages, really like it. Let's just have a quick check. In terms of yeah, it even allows you. I don't think it allows you to use Legion artifacts, or does it? No, it does. So you are even able to use the Legion artifact appearances as well. So you can literally use like everything. So that's really nice. So we will. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have sort of two. I think the way I'm going to go with the channel now and with the live streams moving forwards is we're going to have two sort of separate series running side by side. So we're going to have one which is playing on the mage and the sort of leveling experience post pre-patch, and then the other one that we're going to have is me learning how to PvP as a restoration druid, because there's definitely a lot that I need to learn there, and one of the things that I might have to do is I might have to change to Tauren for PvP, because that is definitely the best of the best of the races for PvP purposes due to Warstomp, and I think they also get a stamina buff as well, so I might have to change that. But in terms of today, thank you very much for watching. For the people who have, this VOD will be available shortly after, well, not shortly because it takes a little bit while for YouTube to update it. But if anybody wants to check out Exile's Reach, I do implore you to do so. It's probably one of the best things I've seen Blizzard introduce, especially for new players.